Okay guys, so you've tried to use denoise and it's just not working. Here's a quick fix. So we have an interview. Here's how the clean audio sounds.
Those gifts, regardless of the size, across dozens and dozens of families, it actually adds up to a very large amount.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're going to open Adobe Audition and you want to click here and hold and lift this up. So here we're gonna see the waveform. So let's start with the Sirens. So let's listen to this.
Those gifts, regardless of the size, across dozens and dozens of families, it actually adds up to a very size across dozens and dozens of families.
You can actually see that there's the siren right there. So let's listen to it again.
Regardless of the size, across dozens and dozens of families.
So you take your mouse and you just drag and hold, and then you release it and then just hit delete.
Regardless of the size, across dozens and dozens of families, it actually adds up to a very...
And that's it. I'm going to hit undo real quick. If you want it to be consistent, you could delete the whole section here.
Those gifts, regardless of the size, across dozens and dozens of families, it actually adds up to a very large amount.
You see it's gone. So one thing you need to know though is it's not going to be perfectly clean. It's going to have kind of a tinny or a hollow sound, but it's better than having birds or dogs chirping. So let's try the birds. So let's see.
Dozens of families.
Let's see here.
Those gifts, regardless of the size, across dozens and dozens of families.
So you can actually see it if you select it. There's the bird chirp. So if it's not where the person's talking, you can actually hit delete here and delete sort of individual chirps. Let's listen to that.
Those gifts, regardless of the size, across dozens and dozens of families, it actually adds up to a...
And you do have one when he's talking.
Of the size,
so like this one. So I wonder if I can just grab this right here. So this is another way to do it, to just try to take out the individual ones here.
Those gifts, regardless of the size, across dozens and dozens of families, it actually adds up to a very large amount.
And you can kind of hear that going in and out. So another thing you can do is kind of just select this whole area. And then if you take, my bad. Let me move this. If you take this, I can just bring that down by, let's say, like 2.4 and see if that sort of helps it.
Those gifts, regardless of the size, across dozens and dozens of families, it actually adds up to a very large amount.
And I would suggest maybe going in and just, maybe messing with the EQ and that sort of thing, but that's another way to do it. Let's listen to the dogs here, or the dog barking here.
Those gifts, regardless of the size, across dozens and dozens of families.
All right, so these are kind of our barks here, and then we have another one when he's talking.
Regardless of the size, across...
Kind of right here.
Across dozens and dozens of... Dozens and dozens of...
So dogs are always difficult because it's gonna kind of be in the range of the person that's speaking. So this is kind of his speaking voice, and then this is our dog bark in the background. So what I would suggest is trying to get as tight, like see there's a little room here, get even tighter, as tight, and then leave a little bit. Don't go all the way down there because leave a little bit, and then you're gonna go the whole length and then delete that. Again, it's not going to sound perfect, but if you have to use it, it could be considered usable opposed to just having the dog barking back there.
Those gifts, regardless of the size, across dozens and dozens of families, it actually adds up to a very large amount.
So I can still kind of hear. So wherever he's not talking, I'll delete those and see if we could get away with this. All right.
Those gifts, regardless of the size, across dozens and dozens of families,
So this one where he barks and he's kind of like talking at the same time.
Dozens eyes across.
Let's see. Take this down a little bit. Take this down a little bit.
To the size across dozens and dozens of families, it actually adds up to a very large amount.
Pretty good. So, it's not going to be perfect audio. I would definitely take some, hopefully you got room tone and sort of layer that in, especially when I'm cutting out like big chunks like here.
Those gifts, regardless of the size, across dozens and dozens of families.
And then maybe double your track and mess with the EQ, and then just bring the volume down a little bit during these sections, and then bring your track where you have your room tone up a little bit. We're just like sort of deleting sections. And then there's probably some AI software too that can, once you've gotten it here, make it a little bit smoother. But hey, this is a quick way to fix it. And I've definitely used it on pretty big projects before, just going in and sort of deleting that area of the wave. And it's really cool how you can visually see this in Audition. Alrighty.